Welcome to my domain, bitch.
Yeah. I am feeling so overwhelmed right now.
Welcome into the Fandom at Random podcast. I am Ed. That is Brian. And Brian, it continues once again. Fandom Fright Fest.
Like music to my ears.
Every week of this month, we've been covering something horrifying, scary, spooky. Until today.
Yeah.
But even today is going to be Halloween themed. Brian, what's on tap today? This is your specialty.
Halloween anime. No.
This is Halloween anime. So we are going to be covering my top 10 anime for the Halloween season.
Yep. I had a hand in this as well. Yeah.
More of maybe a tip of a pinky.
Yeah, just a tip, really, is what I put into this.
But I'm excited, and I know that this is this is Brian's month.
Yeah.
You know, everything Halloween, October, Fright Fest, this is Brian's, fandom. I just dipped my toe into it. So I said, Brian, I'm like...
our podcast.
It is, though. It is. And I'm like, Brian, dude, that's your passion. One of my big passions is anime. It's one of the fandoms I'm huge into. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that.
Hell yeah.
But the cool thing about anime's got a lot of, Halloween-type shit. Like a lot of horror anime, a lot of scary shit.
Yeah.
Just a lot of overall, stuff in the genre. And I was like, you know what? Maybe you listening out there, if you're into anime, maybe I can recommend some shit you haven't seen to watch this Halloween season.
Yeah.
And even if you're not into anime, maybe I'll describe something you want to check out. I'm going to try to keep no spoilers in here, very light shit. More just recommendations to get you into it. And I'm excited for it.
Even me, I'm going to be keeping an ear out. And maybe, just maybe, I'll finally get into an anime. No, I do have a couple I got going.
Yeah, you're into My Hero and a couple things.
Yeah.
So make sure you are following, watching, liking us at fandomatrandom.com. I'm going to stress the watching us part because you're not going to want to miss our next episode. Is our Halloween episode. If you're listening, you're only going to be getting 10% of the experience.
Yep.
You're going to want to watch us.
You want to make bets on what costumes we're going to be wearing. You know, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
That's good too, actually, Randos. If you can guess what costumes we're going to be listening, maybe you'll be entered to win a little prize.
Yeah.
So,
I'll give you a hint.
If you're listening, again, see, this is a perfect example. If you're listening, you have no idea what Brian just did, but it looked like he was trying to jerk himself off over the table.
But the hint is still...
okay, yeah.
Still
because I know what you're going to be. I get it.
So you'll find out. Is it a dildo or is it a knife? Who knows?
I'm not giving a hint on mine. You'll have to wait and see. So, fandomatrandom.com if you want to check us out. And Fandom Frighters last week. So, Randos, if you're listening and you missed last week's episode, we had a terrific draft battle. We went back and forth, mono. We drafted Final Girls from horror. And Brian, I'm sorry to say, you won, my friend.
Who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen that coming?
So Brian is the winner of our Final Girl draft battle, but, that's his fandom. He had the advantage.
Yes.
I mean, if I had Alice from Resident Evil, I think that would have put me over the top.
It might have. Or it really would have sunk you even further. I have a feeling that's what would have happened, but...
So by our Halloween episode, Brian's going to figure out what my losing punishment's going to be.
I have some ideas.
I'm kind of nervous, but congrats, my friend. I'll get you on the next Fandom Fighter.
I'm sure you will.
All right, let's get into our fandom focus of the day. And before we do, I'm getting ahead of myself because
a little bit.
We're going to skip the news at random. We're going to get into our fandom focus. But before we do, this really bums me out. We have yet another fandom
fatality
that we have to get into. And this one sucks. And it's ironic. It's on point for the theme of this week's episode being anime related. Chris Ayres, the voice of Frieza from Dragon Ball. He is dead at the age of 56 from advanced COPD. I've been following Chris's battle with COPD for many years. It's been a really long and sad fight. He had a full lung transplant going on. I believe it was about a year and a half to 2 years ago that he's been trying to recover from. And I mean, this guy is a legend. I mean, he started voicing Frieza in Dragon Ball Z Kai, and going forward, Dragon Ball Super, all of the animated movies, and dude, like, he was recording all of his lines on oxygen. They had to make special accommodations for him.
That's crazy.
To actually still record his lines. So he was down to like 20% lung capacity. And if you go and listen, like, he was still killing it.
I got
killing it. I mean, Frieza, one of the most iconic villains ever.
Yeah, I have to rethink smoking, man, because that COPD
no joke.
Shit is no joke. It affects a lot of the youth of the nation.
It does. Really?
It took you. I just really wanted to see if you catch.
I hate you so much.
I'm sorry. I couldn't out myself. Shit was getting dark quick. I needed to lighten it up a bit.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I was waiting to see if you would just go right by it.
So luckily, Christopher Ayers, he had an understudy, which is Damon Mills, which honestly, like, you can hop on YouTube, check out Damon Mills' work. It's uncanny how much he sounds like Chris Ayers, and he's been working under Chris for a while now. Whenever Chris just couldn't, didn't have the lung capacity to really do what he needed to do, Damon Mills would step in and help him out. But I do want to mention Linda Young. She was the OG Funimation voice actor for Frieza back in the original Dragon Ball Z. She gave a very heartfelt, just saying like how terrible the loss was. A bunch of people in the anime community. I mean, Christopher Sabat, Sean Schemmel, a bunch of DBZ veterans all came out in support of him. And I mean, he brought this character to life, and it's, he will live on forever, even as the evil tyrant Frieza. Even
just being buddies with you and going to conventions and knowing about the anime community, it's obvious how big of an influence he had. And, it's crazy. I mean, 56 is fucking young, dude. That sucks,
Yeah, and I should mention, he has a GoFundMe going. He's had a GoFundMe going for years now, as he's been battling this, and it's been great. I donated to it a while back, but if you can spare any kind of money, he's leaving behind family, it would definitely help him out.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to get into our fandom focus of the week.
All right.
All right, this week's fandom focus. My top 10 anime recommendations for the Halloween season.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to kind of bounce around through my top 10, and there's no real ranking to them. I could have probably taken the time, but I'm going to keep it more ambiguous, because I more so was looking for anime that fit the Halloween season. And that may be shit that is scary, or that may be more shit that's in line with some of the shit you associate with Halloween season: vampires, werewolves, stuff like that, ghosts. So we've got some pretty good choices, and I will say that pretty much almost all of these are, if you hop on Funimation or if you hop on Crunchyroll, you can find 99% of what you're looking for anyway. So I didn't include mentioning those. I more so wanted to mention streaming services that you may already have, if you're not an anime fan, that you could check some of these out on.
Yeah.
So we're going to get right into it. And I have to start with this one, because this anime screams Halloween. That is Soul Eater.
Soul Eater.
So Soul Eater, it is, all you have to do, hop on YouTube, type in Soul Eater anime opening, and it is the most Halloween-looking opening to an animated thing you'll ever see.
I think you've showed me that one.
Yeah. I mean, they've got everything: witches, the black cats, the academy, the best
stockings.
So the best way, randos, if you want to check this anime out, it's on Netflix, by the way, so pretty accessible for all of you.
Yep.
My kind of 2 cents on why you should check it out: it's pretty much Harry Potter, except they're hunting. They're pretty much hunting like evil spirits and evil humans and witches.
So are they saving people, hunting things?
Exactly. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like you take Harry Potter Supernatural a little bit.
Okay, you got me.
And it's the animation is great. It was done by Studio Bones, so one of the just A-listers in the anime community, and it has everything. It really does. I mean, the characters are great. Maka, Soul, Death the Kid, Black Star, one of my favorites. And I will say, quick warning, that the ending of the anime does not follow the manga at all, because it kind of sucks. But everything leading up to the ending is great, and it has just everything. It bleeds Halloween aesthetic.
Man, why do they always got to fuck up the endings by, going off the source material?
Yeah, and the best example I could give on this, Randos, would be Full Metal Alchemist, the original Full Metal Alchemist anime. So that anime concluded before the manga could finish, and they had to come up with an original ending, which it was still good. It was kind of out there, but then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood came out years later, followed the manga much closer, and was the superior version, in my opinion, of the anime.
All right.
So the next one might be a little controversial because you're saying, Ed, this is an anime list, but
yeah.
This is spiritually, this transcends into the anime category, just like Avatar: The Last Airbender is also an anime, in my opinion. But Castlevania on Netflix.
I don't see how it isn't. I mean, even...
And you can talk about this one. That's why I put it in there, too.
I've personally watched this, and I absolutely knew it was going to be on the list. It has that gothic setting, kind of like Bram Stoker's Dracula feel. Yep. And you have, vampires and everything else in it. It's really a good pick for the list, but when I watch it, the only thing I can think of is that it's anime. Like, I wouldn't think it's anything else,
Yeah, and it has that, like you said, the violence is over the top.
Yeah.
Great fight scenes, great just everything across the board. Netflix did a unbelievable job with kind of transposing this into, and I'm going to call it an anime again because it is.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and it's gritty, it's dark. If you're looking for something great to get into for this Halloween season, and especially too, if anime is not your forte, which Brian's kind of on the cusp of that.
Yeah.
But you love Castlevania.
Yeah, no, it's one good one to break into for sure.
Vampires, werewolves, everything. You even get Alucard, the vampire, son of Vlad Dracula.
Vlad Dracula.
Speaking of Alucard, that's gonna dip us into our next anime recommendation, so we're up to number 3 here. Helsing Ultimate.
Helsing. Now, Alucard, as in the voice or like the character?
The character
is in Helsing.
He is in Helsing. He's the main character in Helsing.
All right.
So Helsing Ultimate, it's on Hulu. I super highly recommend this anime. It's a short watch. And it is awesome. I think I might have shown you episode 1 a while back, but it follows Alucard, who is just a ridiculously overpowered, badass vampire.
Right.
And he works for the Helsing organization to hunt other vampires and other demonic creatures like werewolves, all that kind of shit. And it gets brutal. There's great character development, and I highly recommend it.
You know what would make a good anime? Hellraiser. After I see this, because I thought it was Hellraiser for a second. I'm like, dude, that story goes so fucking wild and crazy in places that only an anime could handle. I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah, and it gets, dude, Helsing Ultimate. And if you look, you may see the original Helsing. Stick with Helsing Ultimate. It follows the manga a bit more closely. I much prefer it over the original Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
Great animation, too.
Oh, okay. All right.
So moving on to my next one. And this one is, I didn't want to put, because there's a lot of dark, gritty, gothic anime out there that has the vampires and werewolves. I wanted to include a couple that were still kind of on the cusp of maybe a slightly different genre, but you could still argue is a good Halloween pick.
Yeah.
And I think this fits it. Brian, can you pronounce it?
Yeah. Magikarp, Magikarp.
Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Oh, I almost would have got. I think I could have got that.
Yeah, you could have gotten that. Yeah. So it's on Netflix if you want to check it out, and this is the magical girl anime, which is a hugely popular genre. I mean, going all the way back to the original Sailor Moon, that really shot it up the popularity. But Madoka Magica is awesome. And the thing I love about it is there's literally, like, in the anime community, there's a rule that's called the Madoka Magica rule.
Okay.
That any anime that you watch, you have to give it at least 3 episodes before you give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to spoil anything, randos,
I
but
don't follow that rule.
if you decide to hop on Netflix and check this out, you have to watch all the way through at least the first 3 episodes, because the first couple episodes, you may be like, this is kind of like bubbly and seems kind of like a kid's show. I'm not really feeling it. Get to the end of episode 3, and then you'll see why it's on my Halloween recommendations. So it gets a bit darker, and it's got some, like, it has a lot of the animation's very unique. A lot of like Hispanic Mexican influences in it, almost like more Day of the Dead than Halloween.
Yeah.
But it does follow, the plot line is these girls end up finding this like godlike being that grants them any wish they want, and in return they have to agree to become magical girls that hunt down witches. But the witches are like these demonic, crazy things that they have to go and fight with the powers that they get.
Okay.
And it's cool. You know, it's... I don't want to... I just don't want to spoil too much. I want you to check it out. Let me know what you think. And
Now,
if you're watching with, like, young kids, like, you may put this on thinking, like, I could watch this with my 5 or 6-year-old. The first couple episodes, maybe.
Be right back, honey.
End of episode 3, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to want an older audience to
So,
watch
like,
it.
can we jump to episode 3 and just watch from there? Or
No.
do we have to watch 1
You
and
have
2?
to watch 1 through 3.
Okay. Okay, Ed, stop yelling at me.
Jesus, Brian. It's
right.
the Madoka Magica rule.
This next one I've heard of and seen a little bit of.
Yes. So, next one I've got, and this goes from... This is kind of the opposite of the Madoka Magica rule. This gets you right into the violence. Mm-hmm. So, Elfen Lied, or Lead, I never know how to pronounce that, but it's one of my favorite anime of all time. Been around for a long time. You can watch this on Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Crunchyroll. Dude, the opening episode.
So,
this isn't much of a spoiler because this all happens in the first 10 minutes. It's a fucking bloodbath.
Yes.
And I showed this to you.
a little erotic, too. by
Oh,
the way.
very.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel. Get hard, soft. I have no idea.
Little of both.
A little of both. I always keep meaning to go back and check it out just based on the opening scene that Ed showed me, and I always forget to go back
Yeah,
to
this
it. So,
is up your alley.
Yeah, I really have to do my due diligence and go and check it out.
So the quick kind of Clip Notes plot line behind this is there are these kind of human hybrids that they have these like little almost like cat or like horns on the top of their head. They're like ear horn type things, and they have an ability called a vector, which humans can't see them, but it's like, imagine like invisible arms that can outstretch from you, and they can do whatever you want. They can literally like rip people apart.
Hand jobs.
Yeah, totally, probably. And that kind of goes into it, but it is brutal. It is bloody, and if you're looking for a good, just like really like depressing, horrific thing to watch during Halloween season, this is the anime for you. And I mean the theme song alone, even if you don't get time to check the anime out, hop on YouTube, type in Elfen Lied, again Lied, Elfen.
Yeah.
Look up opening anime song. It is depressing as shit, but it's beautiful.
Right.
I love it.
There's only one other scene in an anime that you've showed me that messed me up more than this one. And I was just looking to make sure you don't have it on the list, but Goblin Slayer.
Oh, Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, besides that one, this intro to an anime, I was like, holy fucking shit. This is what anime can do? Maybe I need to look into it.
Yeah, and Goblin Slayer was, I thought about it, but it's more fantasy than it is Halloween.
Yeah, right.
And I think Elfen Lied it's dark enough that it absolutely fits into the Halloween season.
Definitely.
This next one absolutely fits into the Halloween season. And it is I tried to mix my picks up. I do have some mainstream shit.
Yep.
I've got some shit that's not as mainstream. This one is kind of in the middle, but Witch Hunter Robin.
Huh.
Witch Hunter Robin, such a terrific anime. You can check it out on Amazon Prime if you do want to stream it. And came out back in 2002 by Sunrise Studios. And it follows a witch hunter named
Robin?
Hey, you got it.
I swear, these names, the only
Yeah,
thing...
I knew you could do it.
There are some things about anime that I just don't get, and names are one of them. You name one after the weakest Pokemon in the series, the Magikarp, and then you name the other one. The next one's going to be like Demon Slayer Beth, or like Elf Hunter Edward.
So the cool thing about this anime, and the reason it belongs on this list, it follows the STNJ, which they're an organization in Japan that they're pretty much like supernatural, like witch hunting, like detectives. And I should not really detectives, I should say agents.
I'm noticing a pattern in these shows. Hunters, hunted,
Yeah.
kind of going back and forth. But
And it's really neat. So they end up, there are a lot of people in this world that show magical ability or powers. They eventually either turn evil or they start going that direction. So the STNJ, they step in, they neutralize the threats. And most of them don't have any powers or abilities, but every once in a while, they decide to bring in somebody trained in those arts, hence Robin. And her whole thing is like, it's pretty much like pyrokinetic. So she can control fire with her mind and create fire. And it's visually,
Nice.
it's awesome. I love the aesthetic. And they get into that, just gothic, all like hunting down the witches, and it gets really cool. So I highly recommend checking it out.
sounds pretty good.
All right. Now we're going to get into a bit more. I've got a kind of more current, a bit more mainstream. So for those of you that either watch anime or have dabbled in it, you've probably heard of these next couple. Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul.
I don't know what it's about, but I've heard it many times.
You would probably like this one, man.
Yeah.
Like season 1 is badass. So Tokyo Ghoul, you can stream this shit everywhere. I mean, it's literally on pretty much every streaming service, and it follows a young man named Ken Kaneki who ends up going on a date with a woman, a very attractive woman, in the very first episode.
Uh-oh. Red flag.
And he's a very just like shy, introverted kid, and his whole world gets turned upside down.
She is an escort.
No.
Cannot pay her.
So they're called ghouls in this anime. They're pretty much a mix of a zombie and a vampire. I guess that's the way I would put it.
Normally, according to Supernatural and many other mythos, ghouls are the bottom feeders of the monster world. They feed on garbage, corpses, maggots, that type of shit. Is that the case in this one?
No.
Okay.
They're badass.
Okay.
Ghouls they're pretty much at the top of the food chain.
Oh.
But then again, similar to this, they do have an organization that hunts down ghouls. But and again, this happens in the first episode. So Ken Kaneki falls for this woman. She ends up being a ghoul. She's trying to lure him in to eat him. And a fight breaks out. She ends up getting killed because the ghouls actually, outside their eyes, when they go all like ghoulish, they look human. And he ends up getting mortally wounded. A lot of her organs end up getting transplanted into him to keep him alive. He wakes up, he becomes a half ghoul, half human. So he's got like the one ghoul eye, the one whatever. And then from there on out, he realizes that he can't eat any human food. It all tastes terrible. It makes him violently ill. The only thing he craves is human flesh.
Oh.
And it kind of goes from, it just escalates from there. It gets into the world of ghouls and humans, and it's kind of cool. It gets introspective because like they get into, the ghouls aren't just bad. You get to see them trying to like coincide with humanity, how they can live. So, and then like if you want an anime with like in one season with just crazy character development swing, watch Tokyo Ghoul, because Ken Kaneki goes from this timid, shy, kind of weak kid, and by the end something happens to him and he snaps.
Oh shit.
By a ghoul named Jason, who also wears a hockey mask.
Oh,
so
really?
Another reason to check this anime out.
Okay.
One of the most badass ghouls is named Jason. He's huge and he wears a giant hockey mask.
Nice.
So they
On
were
the nose.
Yeah, they were definitely influenced by horror in this anime. So Tokyo Ghoul, check it out.
All right.
The next one, was one of like the new hotness that's come out in the last couple years.
I can pronounce this one.
Try it.
I can. Jujutsu Kaizen.
Very close.
Oh, yeah?
Very close. That was good. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, see, the S became before the T and the D and the A, and I was just all mixed up.
S before the D. So, Jujutsu Kaisen, you can check this out on Funimation. It actually just arrived on Funimation. And this is, arguably in the past 2 years, one of the most popular anime to come out.
Huh.
And this is straight up just like demons. So,
Demons.
like demon hunting. And they're called, the people that hunt these demons are called Jujutsu sorcerers. And they have all of these different abilities that they go to a school to learn, a Jujutsu Academy. So it kind of mixes in a little bit of that like My Hero Academia feel, but this is much, much, much darker, and it's badass. The animation, top tier. They get into like some dark shit with all
right.
like the demons and all that shit. So if you're looking for, my recommendation would be like, this would probably be one of my top 3. Like if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely give this a shot, especially if you're a fan of the original Naruto or Naruto Shippuden. This anime is like the adult version of that, except instead of ninjas, add in demons. So that's the best way I can describe it.
I love demons. I haven't seen, Naruto Shippuden, but
This is why I wanted you on this, Kaz, man.
I do like demons, so like I love demons, Satan, the occult. So
this
something like that is cool to me,
has especially occult shit. This has that in spades.
Yeah.
So and it's
This might be, so I've been keeping track. This might be like 2 or 3 that I'm looking to check out after this.
and this is another one. It's a classic shonen, but Yuji Itadora, the lead character protagonist, dude, he gets badass by the end of season 1. So big fan. And honestly, all the characters, the character development in this show may be better than any of the ones I've mentioned.
Cool.
All right, just a couple left, and then a bunch of honorable mentions. And randos, I should mention that this was tough for me, like narrowing it down to top 10, like Halloween themed things, because there's a couple that you may be saying, how did that not make your list? And they're probably in the honorable mentions, or maybe I'll skip over them if I did. By all means, hit us up on our socials.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a recommendation for me I haven't seen yet.
Let us know.
But this is another mainstream one.
I loved this movie, dude. The chick that played the actress, it was amazing. And
Death Note.
Yeah, Death Note. The movie was great.
Yeah, so Death Note, but we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the anime.
Oh, there's an actual anime of this?
God damn it, Brian.
Oh, shit.
Why do I even let you come on this podcast? Death Note, you can watch it on Netflix, Hulu, and a couple other places. Those are the 2 prominent ones.
I'm going to keep myself relevant in episodes like this, Edward.
Yeah, but I mean, Death Note, even if you're not an anime fan, you've at least heard of it. Mostly at this point, everybody's heard of Death Note. And I think it's fitting for the Halloween season again, getting into the Shinigamis, the gods of death.
Yeah.
And some of just the absolute effed up ways that Light Yagami just kills people with the Death Note. It's just hugely suspenseful.
Yeah.
It's great to get into, and the soundtrack, everything with it, it has that just dark, gothic-y kind of feel that fits in so well in October.
So for the people like me, let's just hear it outright. Was the live-action movie anything good to go by if you're a fan of the anime?
No.
Okay, so it was like an Avatar type situation.
Yeah, and no.
No?
No,
Not
it
that
was
bad?
not nearly that
Not
bad.
that bad, okay.
It was it was like the hyper Cliff Notes version, but they got the character development or the characters themselves so wrong.
Okay.
So wrong. I actually didn't mind the guy that played L. He was decent. I'm blanking on his
demon?
name. What's that?
Was he the demon dude?
No, that's Ryuk.
Oh, okay. L, I think he was the guy.
L
from
was the guy that was wearing the
Hereditary.
mask.
Yeah.
And he had like the voice changer going on.
Oh,
he was a
okay, yeah.
detective. So, and again, that's this whole anime. So this hyper beyond genius kid with a sense of justice finds a book that anybody's name that he writes in the book will die, and he gets to choose how they'll die. He gets to choose when they will die, and you hand that to somebody with a beyond genius level intellect.
Yeah.
With a god complex, you get Death Note. And that's all I'm going to say. If you haven't seen it, get on that shit. My last one that made the top 10. And this is one that, again, it's, I would say, average popularity, but a lot of people probably haven't heard of it. Mushishi. You can watch it on Hulu.
Sounds riveting.
And honestly, I wanted to put it... I had a couple I was floating in and out of this list, and then I'm like, you know what? Mushishi needs to be in this list because... Randos, if you're listening, if you're not super into like horror, if you're not super into gore, but you are a fan of like amazing stories and just awesome standalone episodes, check out Mushishi. This is honestly, out of everything here, like Studio Ghibli. We talk about them all the time. They've made some of the most amazing animated films of all time. Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, the list goes on. Mushishi is kind of the anime series version of a Ghibli film. Every episode is gorgeous. It's beautiful, and it's like, it's relaxing. Like, you could just sit down and watch it, and what it deals with, it follows Ginkgo, who's he's a mushi master. What that entails, he wanders around the entire world following signs of mushi. What mushi are, they're pretty much spirits that have kind of come into our world. Some of them are good, others are really, really bad. And he tries to help people kind of coexist with the mushi. And there are some super effed up episodes that happen.
Okay.
And the cool thing about this, Randos, is every episode is standalone. There's really not a continued plot line. The only really continuation is Ginkgo. It's Ginkgo's travels as he goes all around. And in a way, like where you're a Supernatural fan, it kind of follows that formula a little bit. It's almost Monster of the Week.
Kind of like the Witcher books. Where
Dude,
it's just the travels.
Absolutely. That is a great comp.
Yep.
And like, again, if you want something to throw on that you're just going to really become engaged with, that's not going to scare you, but still has like the supernatural feel.
Yeah.
Mushishi. Check it out.
I like it.
On Hulu.
I like it.
Couple honorable mentions, and this was a tough one not to get in my top 10. Berserk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorite anime of all time.
I knew it was going to come up. I just didn't know if it really crossed that threshold of horror Halloweenish.
That was the problem, and I don't mind spending an extra second on Berserk because I love it so much, but it was much more in that vein of like the classic medieval kind of fantasy where there are demons, but if you're watching the OG anime, that shit really doesn't happen until, well, I guess it's the first episode, which is the kind of the precursor, and then the very end of the anime. I don't want to spoil it too much, but Berserk, definitely worth checking out. Little Witch Academia, which is pretty much My Hero Academia, but with witches. Paranoia Agent, which is another one, Brian, you might like.
Just
that
the
actually
name sounds pretty cool.
That got banned. Like,
Really?
they couldn't show it on a lot of Japanese TV because it was so creepy. And it's a lot of standalone episodes. It follows a bunch of individual people that have there's a kind of a going rumor or a thing, like they keep getting attacked by something called Little Slugger. And it looks like a fifth grader who always has his hat down. He's on rollerblades and he has a bent golden baseball bat, but he looks demonic. And he shows up at night when they're walking down alleys.
Yeah.
And he'll go and attack them and like beat the shit out of them. And then he's gone.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Ghost Hunt is another one, dude. Oh, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn good.
All
Gets
right.
dark as shit.
Yep.
Demon Slayer. Another one of
That's come up many times.
Yeah, one of the most popular anime right now, which, you know, it's got demons in it, but again, more fantasy than Halloween.
Yeah.
Parasite the Maxim, check that out. And then some of the shonens that kind of get into the Halloween feel. So Black Clover, again, dealing with a lot of magic and magical abilities, and Fairy Tail, the other side of that. Bleach, again, dealing with more of the what's beyond. Yu Yu Hakusho, or Yu Yu Hakusho, I should say, Spirit Detective, that goes without saying. Inuyasha, again, more fantasy, but going back to old feudal Japan with
These are all
demons.
different shows, by the way. It's not all one big name. Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha.
Mononoke, very good. Blood Plus,
Not
great.
to be confused with Princess Mononoke.
Not Princess Mononoke.
See, this is the shit that us noobs have to know. Because you tell me to watch Mononoke, the first thing that's going to come up in the search bar is Princess Mononoke.
Well, that's not a bad thing
what
because
in the fuck are
Princess
you talking
Mononoke
about?
is fantastic.
I mean,
so you should
still,
watch that too.
but not for Halloween.
Blood Plus, terrific vampire anime. Claymore, another one, randos. Go check out Claymore.
I can only
Awesome,
imagine.
awesome. If you like hyper strong female protagonists that kick all sorts of ass
Yeah.
with a giant goddamn sword that cuts demons in half, check out Claymore.
Cool.
Trinity Blood, more good vampire goodness. Ancient Mage's Bride, which is again bit more new, but it's got that gothic feel, a lot of magic to it, and a creepy protagonist.
Huh.
And many more. Brian, did I cover enough?
I think you did. I have enough on my plate to keep me busy for a couple months. Never mind just this month, so we're good.
So if you go back and look at my top 10, was there one in particular like you hadn't heard of that intrigued you after I described
Yeah,
it?
all right. So Soul Eater, obviously, right off the bat, was one that intrigued me a little bit.
That's Halloween Incarnate.
That one sounds pretty fun. As far as like Elfen Lied, I already told you I was interested in that.
Soul Eater's good too because it's light. It's a shonen. It's not gonna.
It's like something I would like kick on with Taylor because she doesn't like horror. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So Elfen Lied is obviously another one. And then what was the one? Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, was the other one I was going to check out. So
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, man, you'd like that shit.
yeah,
All right.
I'd say off a newcomer's mind, that one sounds the most interesting.
Well, randos, I hope you liked my anime recommendations for the Halloween season. Hopefully, you're able to find some shit to watch in the coming weeks. And
Jujutsu to watch.
Jujutsu. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments after this drops on our socials. I'd love to hear from you. As with that guy over there.
And next week, we're back in my territory, bitches.
Halloween. All right. Randos. Later.
Later.